What's going on, people? Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It's Bodø 2, Tottenham 2 in the biggest robbery in a game I have seen in a long time. I mean, Bodø played us off the park, let's be real, for the majority of that game. I thought first half, literally it was backs against the wall job. They should have scored potentially 1-2, had the penalty, which was an absolutely horrific, stupid challenge from Rodrigo Bentancur. I don't understand why he's making that challenge in that moment in time, in that area of the pitch. It's just brainless moment. They get the penalty, they sky it, they have multiple chances after that, and you're starting to think, like, how is it 0-0 going into that second half? And you're calling out for changes. You've got to bring on the changes. You've got to bring on Javi. You've got to bring on Kudus. No changes at half-time. The second half starts pretty much as you were in the first half. We go 2-0 down. And it's like, that performance was so horrific, it deserved the loss, let's be real.
100%, and that guy Hauger on the left-hand side for Bodø, big credit to him because he scored 2 great goals. The first goal, though, what Porro and Johnson, lack of communication, both going with the overlapping runner instead of one of them going with the runner and one of the players going with Hauger inside, and the basic of defending, one of you go with the runner, one of you stick with the man on the ball. They both kind of get confused, and all of a sudden Hauger's got a free shot, curls it into the far corner, beautiful goal. Second one, it's just a myriad of errors, isn't it? Vicario with a shanked clearance.
I think it all started with the pass back to Vicario as well.
Yeah, poor pass, Poor pass to Vicario. Vicario shanks a clearance up in the air. Spence with a lazy kind of a flick to no one, gives the ball away. All of a sudden, Auckland gets out wide to Hauger. He tricks it past Porro like he wasn't even there. Porro gets sold an absolute dummy, and a brilliant finish again. But look, fair play to him. It's 2 great goals, but they could have scored so many others. They hit the bar at 2 too late on as well. They had a number of chances in that first half where they could have scored. So it took 2 great goals to score, but it could have been, the penalty they missed, as you say, which is, by the way, one of the worst penalties I've ever seen in my life. If you watch it back, I don't think I've seen a penalty missed by that much in a long time. It doesn't even get near the crossbar.
It looked like Harry Kane's penalty against us in the pre-season.
I think that was closer, honestly. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy how bad that penalty was. Anyway, 2-0, you're thinking, this is just a really poor display. This is an embarrassing display. We don't deserve anything out of this game. But the changes did make a bit of a difference, you have to say. And obviously we got back in the game fairly quickly, made it 2, although we made it 1-1, but that got ruled out, didn't it? From Bentancur for a foul by Van der Ven, which I think was correct. Made it 2-1 very quickly. Van der Ven's header from a Porro cross. And we did something that we basically just didn't do most of the game. Get early crosses in the box, get those set pieces in, get big men in the box. And that's something that we know from last season Bodø struggle against. And so we didn't make most use of that. And they struggled even today. From corners we were looking dangerous. Odegaard hit the bar from a header. We scored from Van der Ven. We were looking dangerous when we were getting crosses in. Yeah,
I don't know why that wasn't like a clear instruction or a clear method of why we didn't use that tool in our armory throughout the majority of the game. Like, it just felt like, I said it to you during the watch long, it just felt like for the first hour of that game before the subs happened, it felt like it was the last 5 minutes and we were 1-0 up. However, it was 0-0, 1-0 down, 2-0 down. And all we were doing was panicking in the defence, panicking in the midfield, just hoofing the ball up to absolutely no one. When it did land to someone up front, they were completely isolated and had 3 men around him and couldn't do nothing. So it was just like, I don't know what the game plan was today. Like, I'm trying to think about what was the game plan today for the first hour from the off. Like, I can't figure it out because it felt like there was no plan going into the game.
And you have to give credit to Bodø because I thought they played really well. They were very brave, so technical. Once they get the ball in and around your penalty box and you're not really sharp on defending them, they just pop it around, don't they? And they're not scared to play inside into the penalty box, take some touches, play quick one-touch flicks. And they can be very, very dangerous if you allow them to play their football. And that's exactly what we did. We stood off them. We were way too passive, I felt, throughout the game. We're nowhere near as aggressive or intense as we needed to be to stop Bodø playing the football that they were playing. And it nearly cost us. Obviously, it cost us 3 points. But we did get the equaliser late on. Fair play to Archie Gray. Gray came on, had a really good cameo. His shot, he made that run on the right-hand side of the box after a good move by Porro. His shot, fumbled by the keeper, hits the Bodø defender, makes it 2-2. After that, we had 7 minutes to try and get a winner, but Bodø were the ones who came closest, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. And again, it's just frustrating. We're pushing up, we weren't really pushing up. We tried to push up. We pushed up a bit more than we were doing for the majority of the game. And I really thought once we scored that second goal, the game should have been there for us to go and grab that winner. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. And you know what? Taking a point from this game is absolute daylight robbery. It really is, because Bodø should be winning this game, and I actually feel for them. Like, they played so well, they played us off the park for the majority of it, and they come away with just a point. And you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably a good point for them. But when you actually look at how both teams played, they absolutely trounced us for the majority of it, and should have scored more than 2 goals. And we barely created much throughout the game. And I think we're very, very lucky. We got to count our lucky stars that we walk away with at least a point in this game, because we were not at the races. Let's be real.
But Bodø, if it wasn't for some poor finishing from Bodø, we would have lost. That's the fact. And again, defensively today, wasn't like what we've seen in previous games. Not defensively solid enough. Way too easy to create chances and get shots on our goal. Bodø today had 18 shots.
The thing is, right, I thought defensively we were doing, like, from the defence, we were doing okay for like the opening half an hour, and then they started to create a few more chances. But it's what I was saying. You can't keep doing that. Like, keep giving them the ball and inviting them onto us for the whole game. Like, we're going to crack eventually. And that's what happened. Like, we did all right in the initial phases. Like, in the first half, I think what was 0-0 at half time, right? Like, we were doing all right in the first half defensive-wise. Like, Danso was blocking a lot. Van de Ven was doing decent. You know, we were restricting them quite a lot. But, you know, it was only a matter of the time until they were going to break us down.
I thought both halves were poor, to be honest. Defensively, I mean, I think we gave them way too many opportunities. They should have scored in the first half. They did score 2 in the second, but I thought defensively we were just a bit all over the place. Gave them too much encouragement. I think it's more.
That's what it is. It's the encouragement.
It's more to do with not enough kind of not enough of a plan or an idea to keep the ball, keep Bodø pending.
That's what it is.
Them. You know, they look, and credit to them, they were brave. They asked questions of us. They didn't come here to sneak a draw against us. Even at 2-2. You know, you could have forgiven them. Okay, let's settle a draw. We've given away a 2-goal lead, but they're still coming at us. They're still looking for the winner. You know, they're very a brave team, and they only know one way of playing. And they're a good team, man. I know we beat them last season, and people maybe think after we beat them that means they're rubbish. They're not a rubbish team. They're a good team, especially at home. They've always given good teams a good game. They've beaten a lot of good teams in their ground. So you cannot take this game lightly. And I'm not saying we did. I'm just saying it was a tough game. And credit to Spurs, though, because, again, 2-0 down, came back. We don't know when we're beaten. And we do keep going. And we didn't give up in this game. We did end up getting the draw. And we did come back from 2-0. But, again, you've got to say there are definitely concerns over the performance. Even in the
last
second
3 games
half,
now we've come back.
Last 3 games. Even in the second half, I know we came back up, but we looked a lot better with Kudus on. We're so reliant on him, I feel. We are so reliant on Kudus.
I'm thinking, like, so we've rested Kudus today, right? We've rested Xavi today. We've rested Paulinho. Mm-hmm. Like, as much as, like, I wasn't, like, I knew it was a weak lineup, but I thought with the players that we had on the pitch, I thought they would do a lot better than they did, right? You obviously had massive concerns, didn't think we were going to win the game. A lot of people around social media and who we were speaking to thought, you know, this lineup's dreadful. Was there a case of Frank kind of underestimating this opponent here today?
I don't know about underestimating, but I think we got I think there's definitely concerns about Frank about how reliant he is on certain players to play our system. When we didn't have Kudus on, we literally didn't do anything. Like nothing, in this game. Yeah. When Kudus isn't holding the ball up himself or taking people on and getting down the line, it's as if like unless there's a set piece, we offer 0 in open play, and that's the same thing that happened against Wolves. Kudus was running rings around their fullback in the first half. As soon as they shut him out, we offered nothing. It's happened in a few games. We are heavily reliant on him, and he's a new signing. That shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't be so heavily reliant on a player to create the chances for you. Today, and credit to Kudus, he came on, nearly got that assist for Odegaard, who hit the bar, and all of a sudden, as soon as he came on, it's like we had an outlet. We had someone who could He linking with Porro. All of a sudden, Porro was getting high and he's getting crosses in. We had someone who can get us up the pitch, and all of a sudden, we could hold possession in their half. It's like without him, we just had no ability to do that. And we had, before he came on the pitch, you got Bergvall, Odegaard, Johnson, Richarlison. I'm not saying they're the best players in the world, but you should be able to hold the ball a bit better with those players. You should be able to sustain some sort of attacking play at some point during the game. And we offered nothing.
Are you saying it's more of a tactical or a personnel thing? Because
tactical, both. But yeah,
I mean, we can talk about it being a personnel thing, and yeah, we all know we need more quality in the forward line. That's no secret. However, it's got to be a tactical thing when each and every attacking player is just so isolated. All we're doing is hoofing the ball up, and when we do try and progress it, you get a pass from Pedro Porro into Brennan Johnson or into Odo, whoever it may be, or into Richarlison, and they've just got 3 men around. What are they supposed to do at that moment in time?
And but it's also as if our players don't like to get near each other.
Yeah,
it's almost like whenever we get the ball, it's like we want to be running in behind, we want to be exploiting the space in behind and trying to stretch them, but it's leading to a lot of players being isolated, no one near each other, and the pressing's not working. And it also means giving the ball away. And when we're countered, we're also in big trouble. And there's no one knitting the play, no sort of design to keep the ball, have any sort of possession-based system. That has got to be a concern. And the fact that it seems as though without Kudus, we struggle to progress the ball at all in open play. That's the big problem. I said it before the game. I remember Josh King was saying in the WhatsApp, I hope we rest Kudus today. And I was saying, I understand the need to rest him because we play him a lot, but we are so heavily reliant on him right now to do us so much. I know he's not even scoring, but just general play. We're so reliant on him to do so many things.
And it showed again today.
We literally offered 0 before he came on. And when he came on, it changed the game and it helped us. And look, as a team, as a mentality, fair enough. We kept going, we got the draw. But there's serious issues and concerns about the style of play. And it's not just the style of play. I don't really care about playing a certain brand of football, but you've got to be effective. You've got to be creating chances. You've got to look threatening. And we didn't do any of those things today until obviously the latter stages and I said it before the game, I think unless if we're not losing before Kudus and Javi come on, I don't know if we win. And look, I think pretty much called it spot on what happened today, but we did get the draw and fair enough to the team, because when you're 2-0 down in any game, it's never easy. So to do that twice in a couple of weeks, to come back, you deserve credit for that. And Frank, as I've always said, he's still figuring things out. He's still very early on. But this is a question I was putting to you. I get all that. You're going to have to be patient. But at what point, when we're seeing performances like we saw for the first 70 minutes, if we keep seeing that, at what point do you start getting concerned?
Well, I mean, it's hard to answer at what point you start getting concerned, because you can only get concerned once you get concerned, if you know what I mean. But for me, I'm fully behind Frank, and I want to give him as much time in the world to get this right. So I think, like I said when you last asked me that question, you got to sit down at the end of the season. You got to think about things. You got to assess things. You got to see how things are going. I think that. Look, Frank obviously got some great players in the summer. He needs to utilise them better. We need to see those attacking patterns of play. We need to see us with better ball progression through the middle of the park. And we need to see us being a better attacking force. As much as all the fans want to see it, he's the one that keeps saying it as well. So if he keeps saying it, he needs to put the proof in the pudding, and he needs to show us in front of our eyes on the pitch, which we haven't seen yet. However, on the flip side of that, if you just look at the barefaced facts of how the season's gone so far, we're sitting, 4th in the league with 11 points, not far off it. 4 points so far in the Champions League. We're into the next round of the Carabao Cup as well. So things are going all right. It's just,
I said before the game, I don't think a draw is a terrible result.
No, I don't think a draw is a great result today. I don't think it's a great result by any stretch. We should be beating Bodø, even with the team that we had out today. I think it's a poor result today. However, when you look at the bigger picture and, how we're going in the league, well, we haven't lost in the Champions League yet, 4 points, and we're through into the next round of the Carabao Cup. So I think we're actually going well. We're going well.
And reality is, whatever you want to say about performances, we're still hard to beat. We didn't lose. We lost to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But even when teams seem to get a tactical upper hand, and even when we're not playing well, we seem to pull something out of the bag, and we seem to drag ourselves to at least a draw in most games. So that deserves credit, and the fact that we're doing that while not playing well, while things are not clicking on the pitch, hopefully means when things do start to click, it's just going to stand us in good stead. And it just means, hopefully it means in those, like down the line, in those periods of the game when we're not playing well, and like hopefully people remember, look, we can still get results in these situations, and no one panics. It calms the team down in those situations when you go through these experiences. So that's good. That's a positive.
The thing that worries me as well, not the attacking style of play, but like what you're talking about in defence. Like in the first few games of the season under Frank, it just seemed like we were so calm and composed and defensively capable. Where in these last few games, I've just seen a lot of panic at the back, like a lot of it, and I'm not sure where that's come from.
Yeah. Obviously, Brighton, we were opened up quite a bit for that first goal. Wolves,
we were panicking heavily in that second half.
And then today, and obviously the Bournemouth game, you look back at the chances we conceded in that game as well. But obviously that seemed at the time an exception to the rule. Look.
But we knew it was it's a tough job. The Tottenham job.
Romero today as well.
Yeah, look, it was far from our best team today. Look at the players that we had out: Romero, Kudus, Javi, Palhinha, all our best players pretty much.
I know it's not. I agree with that, but we have a squad for a reason. You can't build a squad and say but you can't make changes for Bodø away and expect a good performance unless you've got your best team. You know what I mean?
But we're not even getting good performances when our first.
That's the point.
There. That's the other thing. But
I don't think that's my point. I don't think it was a selection. It was look, selection plays a part, but I don't think it was a personnel issue why we struggled so much today. I think a lot of it is to do with the setup.
I agree with that.
And what Frank's got us doing. And that's not to say Frank's a bad manager or anything like that. It's just he has got some issues at the moment with how we're set
He'll
up.
rectify it.
And
I'm pretty sure
he's got stuff to he's got a lot of stuff to fix and rectify. Yeah,
he will rectify it because we're nowhere near ticking, and we've already got as many points in the league as we've got 4 points in the Champions League, and then for into next round the Carabao Cup, we're not ticking yet. So let's hope the more time that they have on the training ground, the better it's going to get, and it'll be pleasing for everyone because hopefully the points will keep coming through, and it'll be more pleasing on the eye. That's all we can hope for.
Can't really read too much into it because obviously we've got a whole host of games tomorrow, but currently sit 4th in the Champions League standings.
Yeah. Who do we got? Monaco away next.
And is it Monaco away?
Yeah, Monaco away. So that's also going to be a very tough game. That's probably going to be tougher than this one in Bodø. So
I don't know if we'll see if we end the week in the top 4.
What did Monaco do in their first game? You can see it on the league table.
They lost.
Oh, they lost.
They lost to. Can't see. Oh, Club Brugge 4-1.
Oh yeah, Club Brugge playing some good stuff. But one more player I want to talk to you about before we go on to the fans is Archie Gray. Like unbelievable performance against Doncaster. Come on and had a heavy impact in changing the game today. Like he's really starting to come on now, Archie Gray, and I think he's got to start to come into the conversation for the league games and everything like that.
Definitely played very well against Doncaster. Played well when he came on today. So if he keeps making an impact, got the assist for the. I don't know if it counts as an official assist, but he made a real big impact for the goal that we scored, the equaliser. It was a good cameo. So look, we got Leeds on Saturday. Bentancur didn't have a great game, so I wouldn't mind maybe Gray, Palhinha, Javi or something like that.
No Bergvall.
Yeah, look, give Bergvall a rest. He's playing a lot at the moment. Yeah. I don't mind that. Look, as I said, we've got a squad. For me, you just got to pick who's... at the moment, a lot of players are playing quite well in that midfield, but Gray, he's taking a claim at the moment, and while he's impressing, you've got to give him an opportunity.
And I thought Sarr was really poor today. So, yeah, I would love to see that midfield of Palhinha, Gray and Javi in the middle. I don't know. I don't think Javi was too great when he came on today.
I don't know what we do with the left, because I don't know. Odegaard did okay again, but, it wasn't nothing to shout home about, Odegaard. So, what does he do on Saturday?
He might go Tell.
Side. Does he go? I know, might do, because Tell came on.
He might go Tell, because Tell actually came on against Wolves and forced that equaliser. So
we have another problem because Rishi looked tired today, and I don't know does he want to start him again because he played 90 minutes today, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he played 90 against Wolves.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we do with him because unless Moani's fit, But again, you're not going to chuck him in, are you?
Yeah, because
straight away?
Moani hasn't been training for how long now?
So, is Tell going to be needed up front potentially? I don't know. It's got a few problems there.
Yeah. But, that's problems for another day. And we'll talk about that on Friday. But look, that is your instant match reaction. Spurs come back from 2-0 down once again to claim a draw, this time in the Champions League. An absolute robbery. And you got to feel for Bodø. But at the end of the day, who cares? Because we got a point. But that is your instant match reaction. Now it is time for you guys to have your say on the game today. We got anyone? We got people, and they're about to be lined up in a second. Frank in the post-match there, I'm just seeing. Not looking too happy, to be fair. Don't blame him.
Tell people to vote.
Vote? For what? Oh.
Oh, do you have the link?
Yes, I have the link.
He always, he does talk about detail in his interviews, which I like, Frank. He gets specific about things.
Yeah, he just seems very honest as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't beat around the bush. Just honest, straight to the point, that's it. No
And
bullshit
sometimes
with him.
spoke of like a lot of vague things.
Yeah.
He would say something, but it would be very vague.
All our managers. I remember Pochettino
Yeah,
used to like
Poch.
speak in riddles.
Conte as well.
Yeah. But please do vote for us, people. I see there's nearly 2,000 people in here in the live chat. We are up for Best Club Content Creator in the Premier League with the Football Content Awards. The link is currently there in the live chat. It's also on a post on our post section on YouTube if it gets lost in the live chat. So please do. We're up for Best Premier League content or Best... What is it?
Best
Premier
club
League.
content
Best club
creator.
content creator in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's the one. It's all you guys that make this happen. So if you do want to vote for us, the link is in the live chat and also in our community section or the post section, it's called now, on YouTube. But thank you very much for all your support over all the years. But let's move on and let's go to Stephen. How you doing, Stephen?
Evening, you're right.
Yeah, you know what? Just gathering our thoughts after that one. Another hard slog to get through, but we got through it in the end somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how, though. That has to be one of the worst performances of the season, I think, even worse than Saturday.
Worse than Bournemouth?
Yeah, even worse than Bournemouth.
Wow.
I think that was a tough watch tonight. I was really concerned tonight. We just didn't look like we had any answers. We from minute one, we were on the back foot all the time. It was just awful. I don't know what the problem is at the moment. I mean, what do you guys think it is? Because
This is your chance to have your say, Stephen.
I know, but I don't know. It was just terrible. Yet somehow we managed to get a draw out of it. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
really,
Joe, how much did you still give credit to the team, despite, as you say, a poor performance or a bad performance today? For the second time, 3 games in a row coming back from behind, and for the second time in 3 games or 4 games coming back from 2-0 down as well.
Yeah, I mean that's the positive, I suppose. We don't give up and we keep going to the end. Like last season, we would have just folded at 2-0 and that's it. So you've got to give them credit for that, but we shouldn't keep putting ourselves in that position because it won't be sustainable. Look at for example, I know this is Spurs time, but look at Liverpool, like last minute winners for most of their games this season. Then Saturday they lose a last minute.
Liverpool lost today.
That's what
Yeah,
you're
I know.
saying.
Oh,
This
right,
is
sorry.
It's not. This is what I'm saying. It's not sustainable to keep doing this throughout the season.
No, you're
So
right.
at some point, these draws will probably, if we keep playing like we are, these draws will turn into defeats, and then the defeats start looking up. So I don't know. It could. I mean, again, we've got a lot of players out injured. Solanke, Mawani, Kulusevski, Madison.
Yeah, but you look at the team we started today, it's not too dissimilar to the team that beat Bodø last year when we were in the Europa, is it?
No, and I think we got them on an off day, to be honest with you, last season, because they were really good last season. And
People
look,
are just so desperate not to give Ange any credit.
no, but I'm just saying, like you could quite clearly see they were up for this game, first Champions League game at home. You know, they've been bigging it up the last couple of days, so you could see they were well up for it, and they were. He had them set up correctly with the help of us. You know, so look.
When you look at the team selection today, Stephen, do you think Frank got that wrong, or do you think we have a squad, he's got to use it at some point? Well, how do you feel about the lineup he put out?
I would have personally started Kudus, Simmons, Polinia. Hopefully got ourselves into a decent position, and then obviously swap it because it just looked disjointed today. Like you guys have said, Kudus, really important player for us. So whether he's thinking that as well, he's really important. I don't want him to get injured because we lose him, then who we got on that side? Yeah, I thought Odegaard did okay in parts. Spence, I don't know what Spence was doing for the second goal though. Backing it at that part of the pitch, I don't understand what he was doing with that today. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely miss Romero, I think as well. So, but I mean, you guys, what do you think? Do you think we can sustain this? Do you think the results will get better?
It needs to get better. It needs to get better on the pitch. We need to see more attacking intent. We need to see more progression, particularly through the middle of the park. And one player that could help with that, who I've seen a lot of improvements over the last couple of games, is Archie Gray. What's your thoughts on Archie?
Oh, when he came on, he put the cross in for the equaliser. So yeah, I think he needs to be given more chances because the games that I have seen him play, he's done really well in there. So maybe give him a run of games, and see what happens. Can't do any worse, can he? So, it's just a bit frustrating tonight, guys. I don't know.
Is a draw? Would you have taken a draw before the game? Is a draw a good result away in Europe?
It is, but yeah, I mean, the way the game went, getting a draw, I'll take that. It's a point. You need to be picking up as many points as possible in the Champions League to give yourself a good chance of getting out. But like I say, we can't sustain it. Something's got to improve, and I'm really worried about Saturday now, guys. I really am. I am fearful about Saturday.
Is that because it's before an international break?
It is, and obviously...
is this weekend the last one before the international?
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, and Leeds are at home, with their crowd.
Yeah. It's funny, we were talking about after the Brighton game, we're like, okay, next few games, we got Wolves, we got Bodø, we got Leeds. Real chance to build some momentum going into the internationals. We haven't won any of them.
The only plus thing is we're not losing.
That's true. We're not losing. And look, to be fair, Stephen, it's Frank's only third month in the job. It's still very early on, isn't it? So you got to give him some time to work out all these problems, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've no doubt he will. But like I say, teams like that will see that performance tonight and be like, okay. And like I say, sustaining that, plucking a draw out of the defeat is not going to... You can't do that through all the season, So, but yeah, no, I know that he'll turn it around and sort it out. So,
Stephen, it's not always going to be sunshine and roses straight from the off with a new manager, especially at Tottenham Hotspur. We know that. So look, Frank is the master tactician. He'll get it right.
Yeah, after last season, though, come on,
We're doing better than last season. I think how many clean sheets did we keep last season?
6.
Don't make me bring out the stats.
6 clean sheets.
I think at this stage of last season, it's very similar to what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we've conceded. Right now, we've conceded in the Premier League 4 goals.
Are you keeping a track?
Last
Are you
season
keeping an Ange track? Oh, don't be silly.
I'm just saying. I just like to know. Last season, it was 5 goals at this stage. I think last season it was 10 points. We're on 11 now.
Yeah, there you go.
But obviously, it's going to fall off a cliff, isn't it?
Stephen, always a pleasure, mate.
Stephen.
Yeah, great show as always, guys. Love everything you do for the community and stuff. So keep it going, and we'll see what happens on Saturday. But all the best, guys. And thanks for having me again. Yeah.
Always a pleasure, mate. 3 points on Saturday. You know it.
Let's hope, guys.
Big up to you.
All right, take care, guys.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. So what is this? You've got an Ange tracker.
I was just looking. I was just checking what we were saying after 6 games. What was it? 6 games we're in?
6 games, yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying. We'd scored 1 more last season, but also conceded 1 more.
How Forest doing after 6 games?
I thought the first 10 games don't count. That's what I've been told.
All right, let's move on.
We're better than Forest. That's why we have better players.
Well, Forest finished above us last season. Let's go to George. Yes, George, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not great after that.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I feel like shit because I'm under the weather, but we still played worse than I feel. So something's wrong here.
Mate, what is going on? What is going on with this team at this moment in time? Because, you know, it just seems to be shocker performance after shocker performance like that. Second half against Wolves, the 90 minutes pretty much today. I mean, what do you put it down to today?
Again, I said it against Wolves at the weekend. It's the midfield. When we don't have a midfield, we're playing like shit. And I don't know if that's down to the manager, down to the players, down to the player choices, just down to like performance on the day, or what. But I don't see how Bentancur can be starting anymore. He needs to have a bit of time out. He needs to get back to the training ground. And just work on his play. He's constantly. It's like when we were against Wolves, him and Paulinho are just constantly tripping over each other and getting in each other's way. And I would say it was the same today, but I didn't even know Papa was playing today. Like he was completely just out of the game. But you can't put it down to any one individual. Everyone was shit today.
So who would you have liked to have seen in midfield today?
What, in midfield?
Yeah.
Well, we needed to rest some players. When was the last time Xavi had a rest? He's played every game basically since he's joined, I think. So
Well, we had a rest today,
he
didn't we?
needed to have a rest.
Oh, right. You're saying, yeah. Go on.
I mean, he started on the bench.
Yeah, so I
he
would have
started on the
started
bench
him if
against
he'd-
Brighton, didn't he?
Yeah, if he'd had a full game of not playing, I would have started him. But he's come on at some point in every single game
Yeah.
that I can see. I've
Yeah.
rated him for every single game, so I'm assuming that's the case. But other than that, I don't even know where to start. That's what's so upsetting about it. Like,
Let's start off with your
we
ratings. Who
struggled.
got the highest rating? Because did anyone get a higher rating today?
maximum of 6. 4 players I gave 6.
Who were they?
Van der Ven, Simmons, Odobert, and Paulinho. Now, I know a lot of people in the comments won't agree with that, especially Odobert, but it felt like he was the only one that was really driving us forwards until Simmons came on. Simmons
Yeah.
was looking for the option. There just weren't any options. He was constantly having to go back. I would have liked to have give Kudus a 6, but I didn't, because I think, yes, he did change the game when he came on, but he looked like he just had the wrong boots on. He was constantly slipping over, losing the ball. But again, every single player was like that today. We
Yeah.
got lucky, but it's still 2 points dropped in a game we should be winning very comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuming, mate, fuming.
Well, you know, off the back of that Wolves second half, and then you saw what you saw today, like, is that how much of a concern is that you know there wasn't any sort of improvement from what we saw on the weekend, or is that just the kind of the where we're at the moment?
It's a big concern. I think the biggest concern for me though is we had a very obvious new manager bounce at the beginning of the season. Our first 3 games, who was the third one? That was Man City. So up to Man City, it was really good. Then we have Bournemouth, and it seems to have just been a downward trajectory since then. Yes, we had the game against West Ham, which was good, but it was against West Ham. They were probably worse than we were good. And then every single game since then, it's just sort of been a bit wishy-washy. Doncaster was probably the best, like individual player performances.
Yeah, but
Still-
George,
Frank said Brighton was our best.
yeah, like George, I thought like when you're talking about what you want to see for this team, about showing attacking intent, progressing the ball a lot better than we have been, I thought, after those kind of games that were poor after Bournemouth, I think, was it Brighton after Bournemouth? Is that what it was?
No, there was West Ham.
Yeah, so I mean,
Bournemouth, West Ham, Villarreal,
West Ham, we
Brighton.
won 3-0, right? Against Brighton, I thought it was better than it was against West Ham from that aspect. And in the first half against Wolves, I thought it was a bit better as well. So I thought second half against Wolves and today was shocking. But I do think there was a bit of a period in between Man City and now where it was decent.
It's a weird one because again, there's some games where I think the players have had really good games, and just as a team, we haven't been like a cohesive unit. And then in some other games, it's completely other way around. Not like a single player has really stood out, or maybe one or two have, but the team has been really cohesive. So again, I just put that down to Frank being new, and I think it will improve, but it is certainly worrying. Um, I gave Frank a 4 today, and I only gave him a 1 against Wolves. So at least his substitutions today did change things,
Yeah.
which they did. But I still would have liked to have seen them come earlier. I don't get what this whole I call it woke footballing, right? When managers seem to be scared of upsetting players by doing substitutions at halftime. I hate it. It's so rare to see these days.
Yeah, I mean, it
Substitutions
was
at
obvious
halftime
we
unless
needed
something's
something at
gone really
halftime
bad.
today, yeah.
Exactly. And what was it was about 60 minutes, 59, 60 minutes, I think, the first
Yeah.
substitutions. Again, same as against Wolves. Like everyone can see what's going wrong. Everyone can see it's midfield. Everyone can see Bentancur needs to come off. And he just stayed on and I don't even know. I'm not a football manager. I'm not the one who's paid to be with him in training. So I trust him, Frank. But I'm going to get so much hate in the comments for saying this. I do miss Ange. I really do. And I still think he should have been given another season.
You ain't going to be getting hate
But
from
hey
me,
ho, we're not
George.
there.
I think the Forest
Yeah.
fan base will be like, take him.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair. But look at Forest's players compared to ours.
Yeah.
I think I don't even know where to begin on everything. As you can probably tell, I'm rambling a little bit because I'm shocked. I'm so shocked at how bad that was today. I don't think it was as bad as the Bournemouth game because I
And,
think
look, and
Stephen.
also, George, we did come back, didn't we? We came back. We got the draw. We
Yeah.
didn't lose. So you got to
Yeah.
praise the mentality of the team, don't you?
And in previous seasons, yeah, under Ange probably, and in Mourinho and Conte's tenures, we probably would have lost that. So I guess in that aspect, you can see it as a point gain, but going into it, that's a must-win game tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to come up with excuses for the players, but it looked like they really struggled to play on that surface.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a factor. What do you guys think about that? Because that
Well,
was something
Frank
I was
said
thinking about.
he didn't train. They didn't train on that pitch tonight before the game. Sorry.
Yeah, because it
they-
takes. So he said they didn't because it takes a couple of weeks to get used to the surface. So it was completely pointless, and they didn't want prying eyes.
And yeah, exactly.
At least that's what I heard.
That's what he said. He said they didn't want to give away any tactical information to Bodø, so
But
didn't.
they've got artificial surfaces at Hotspur Way.
They do, yeah.
So maybe they were doing that at Hotspur Way.
I think they were.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So-
In that case, there was no excuse for the constant slipping over and everything. But
I mean,
Yeah,
let's be
I
real.
mean,
All these
a point's
players
a point.
played on this exact same pitch last season. It's not an
Yeah.
excuse. Like you can't make excuses for the pitch.
yeah, not at all. I want to see Brennan on the bench. I want to see Bentancur on the bench. I want to see a consistent midfield picked every single week to get a bit of confidence into those starters. I'd love to see Pape.
Wait,
pull his finger out
what's that
and get back
midfield?
to-
What's that midfield you want? The consistent one.
For me, Paulinho, Sarr, and Xavi. For me, because then I think if we've got Bergvall on the bench, he's an incredible player who can come in the 8 or in the 10. For me, Paulinho has been head and shoulders above Bentancur this season.
Yeah.
I've been saying since Bentancur's first season that he's not really good enough. I will stand on business on that. Even when he has a really good game, I'll just say, let's see how long it lasts. And I always get stick from my mates for saying it. But I think he's quite overrated. I just think he doesn't suit the systems that we've had, and he doesn't suit the club. I think he's a phenomenal player, but just not for us.
It's about to get a new contract.
I know I saw that today, and I'm like, I think we should focus on bringing in some strikers who can stay fit and actually score goals. What was with that Richie chance that he had? My God, how did he miss that?
I mean, he didn't even get a connection on it. I mean, I don't know. It just felt like he thought the player was going to get there, and it just came to him, and he just got caught by surprise. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, but like Brazilian number 9, you have to be expecting that.
Yeah, of course you do.
Like there's levels to the game.
Forget Brazilian number 9, Tottenham number 9, anyone's number 9. You got to be expecting it. As a number 9, you always got to expect it.
Exactly. But yeah, I just think all around it just wasn't good enough today.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I can really say on it.
All right, George. Well, let's hope for 3 points on Saturday. Thanks for coming on today, mate, and we'll speak to you next time.
Fingers crossed.
Nice one, George.
Come on,
you Spurs. Big up to George, but we'll keep it moving, people. We've got an empty ceiling coming on next. It looks like.
There she is.
It's Kayla. Hi, Kayla. How are you?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. I mean, I say good, but that was such a shocking watch today. Yeah, I mean, what do you put it down to? Why are we playing so poor at the moment?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, honestly. It looked like from how we were setting up and how, I don't know, like the first 25 minutes were going, that it looked like we were trying to sit back. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I know some people like to be more on the practical side of things, but I think it just invites pressure. If you're not putting the pressure on, then it's coming on to you basically, and it's just a matter of time until something comes through, something goes wrong. So I'm not a fan. I think obviously it's not like our strongest 11, but we have to use all of our players. We can't keep playing the same people game in, game out, especially when having 2 games a week. So I don't really think that's an excuse. I think our midfield should have been better able to handle at least some control, maybe not even like progressing into the final third as much, but some more control. And you almost kind of hope that there would be some player on the field just be like, okay, things getting a little out of control here. Can we just like make 4 basic passes and then try to move on from there? Like, I don't think there's really a good reason for everyone to be panicking as we are. And yeah, I don't know. It was just frustrating. I was just sitting there like this, like, okay, this is going to be a long one. Like,
So when you look at the performance, do you think it's more down to maybe the team Frank picked, or do you think it's just his setup in general is an issue?
Well, that's what I mean. I'm curious to know what the game plan was. Like, I'm curious if we just kind of got pinned back in that position, or if that's where we wanted to be. I do think we need a 10 because you see, whenever Xavi gets on the ball, whether someone's close to him or not, he'll quickly be able to turn and face the goal to go forward. Mm-hmm. And I think Bergvall, just for me, like straight up, he's an 8. I don't see him as a 10, like, period. So I think like he's the one that kind of brings energy. He can like switch the play. He does good when there's a lot of space. I don't think he's necessarily good at like turning on a dime and like feeding people out into the wings necessarily. And I think in terms of how Odegaard plays, he plays really well with Xavi. I think they kind of have a similar mindset and like the flicks and tricks, little 1-2s, that kind of thing. And we miss that when someone like that is not out there. But at the same time, we only have Xavi that can play that right now. Our other 2 are on long-term injuries, so we just have to make something work.
Would you consider maybe putting a Kudus at number 10 if need be at times?
I don't know, maybe. Like, then we have to figure out what we're doing on the right wing.
But that's a whole other issue.
And that was the other thing too. I was like, okay, so maybe Brennan is on because we want to be absorbing more of the pressure and then looking for more of a release or a counter, because that's, I think, a bit more where Brennan can thrive. But I don't see what's so hard sometimes to just like having your back to a player and holding it up just to pass it off, not have to be like this hot potato, like, I don't want the ball. Like, surely he can do a bit better with that. And I don't know why everyone kind of hates on Odebear so much, but I thought he was our only bright spark attacking wise in the first half, especially.
Yeah.
He can, because he'll even just like hold it up, but he'll dribble and has the agility to go on the outside or bring it inside. It's just the problem is we didn't have anyone there for him to link up with. It's just, even like with Spence, it was like, okay, progress the ball. And then you get to this final third, like it's like this line gets drawn and then people are just like, shit, like what do we do? Where do we go? We don't know. So I don't know if they just haven't been working on that yet, if they've been trying to like shore up stuff in the back. I'm not sure, but there's definitely a clear lack of just like cohesiveness or ideas or whatever. And honestly, Richarlison, like, I don't really think it's necessarily his fault, but like we could have been playing with like 10 men. It just seems like he wasn't involved at all. Did he touch the ball once the whole first half? Like,
whose fault is it when that kind of happens? Because I remember I've seen like games for like City when like Haaland's like really uninvolved and like a lot, obviously he comes in for a lot of criticism in those moments. But is it like a team's responsibility to be feeding him, or do you think he needs to himself be, asking for the ball more and coming a bit deeper and linking the play? Like when a striker like Richarlison, I think in the first half today they said he had 4 touches. Like,
yeah,
is that a team's fault, or do you think he's responsible for that?
I think it's a bit of both. In the final third, like it's kind of hard when it's just him and there's like 4 players around him. Like the chance of getting the ball is going to be pretty slim. But I mean, if you're kind of just I don't know, hanging out with like that forward line and you're not getting involved, then maybe sometimes you have to show for a long ball and try to hold it up. Like, I don't know, be that relief person every once in a while. So, but you can't do that unless you're getting served the ball as well. So it's a bit of both, but that's why I don't think like Lucas and him like link up that way very well either. So even just that cohesion from the 10 to the 9 wasn't really working. So yeah, I don't know. It was a bit frustrating. And I think like Bentancur didn't have a good game. I thought this would have been the time for him to do well because he's normally, cool on the ball, but the penalty was really bad. Honestly, that miss, I'm just like, you almost think that's deliberate, like to have for how poor it is. Like, actually is just like mind blowing to me, but someone was looking out for us. I don't know.
What's your opinion on Frank then? Like, because obviously we're seeing some decent performances, but really poor in terms of chance creation. Are there massive red flags there, or is it just teething problems with Frank in a new job?
I think probably more of the teething problems. I think eventually things will kind of work out. That's why, like, just how the first games have gone, it seems like they have been trying to shore up things defensively, and I think that can kind of stunt how things go forward. I do think things will get worked out. It's not like his teams in the past have been just purely defensive, and they've also scored a lot of goals too. Yeah. So I'm sure that will work out in time. For me, it's kind of like, you can kind of analyze his performance and not be happy about certain things, but like when you zoom out and like looking at all of the facts of like, okay, he hasn't been here that long. Like, we're just getting to know the team, seeing who can work together. Like, there's still a lot of time to make these things work. So it's not like I'm not panicking, but I'm also not impressed with the performance or like even just attacking in general at the moment. But I don't think that will be forever. But I would like to see them have a better idea than just, hoping Kudus can take it from like 65 to 85 and then have a goal. Like, I don't think that's fair. And I think even he kind of takes it on himself a lot of the time just to like, okay, I guess I have to go through 3 players. And then he even just doesn't use anyone to bounce off of. Like, there'll be times where someone wants to do an overlapping run or like on the inside or a quick 1-2. And then that would release him and I think actually make him a lot better. But he just takes it on himself each time, and that can get frustrating too. So I don't know.
It seems they're very reliant on Kudus. That's
but I mean, there's a quality problem as well, isn't there? Like in that forward line, there's a clear quality problem, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I think if that's the case, everyone kind of has to work together more. It can't just be relying on individual performance.
100%.
Players that have superstars, and if you put them in any team, they're going to do well because they can kind of just do a lot of it themselves. But we're not like that, so we have to. And even just like the last season, the season before, there were goals coming from everywhere. I don't think it should ever be on one specific player. Like, oh, we need a goal scorer. It's just like, well, they should be able to come from multiple places. Like, just like, you know, if City, well, if you kind of nullify Holland, then it's a pretty good chance you're gonna like shut down the team for the most part, right? So
Yeah.
Obviously, but yeah. So I don't think we should just be completely blunt without Kudus on there. There needs to be more of a solution, but that's for Frank to figure out.
Does Archie Gray deserve a start for you on the weekend?
Yeah, actually, I would like to see him against Leeds. I think obviously it was probably good that he got a lot of playing time the previous season. They weren't obviously the positions that he wanted to be in, so I think he did like a good job for someone who didn't play in those positions. I don't know how he kind of got pinned into being a 6. I honestly don't think he's a 6. The last few performances where he did play that last season, it was like giving me PTSD. I was like, please do not. He was just getting like deked around like goal. It was traumatic. So, but him as an 8, he's the kind of person what I'm talking about in terms of linking up with the wing player. And he made that for the goal. He made that run multiple times against Doncaster, but every time he would turn away from goal and then cut it back. And I was like, just one time, just turn towards the goal and like cross it in. And he did that and then got a goal. So he brings a lot of energy. He has a good engine. So yeah, I think we should give him a shot.
Need Kayla on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think so. Kayla, thanks you for coming on today, and we'll speak to you soon.
Hey, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
See you, Kayla. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving, people. We've got James coming on next.
Hello.
How you doing, James? You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you guys?
Yeah, you know, happy that we managed to get a point. I thought a point's I think a point's a poor result, but you know, under the
I don't think it's
under the circumstances, you got to take it, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think it was what any of us really expected. Probably the same as the weekend, right? We probably didn't expect to get a draw from potentially the bottom. Well, not potentially the bottom team of the league. But I mean, I just said it in a group chat now, and it's not me trying to talk bad about Spurs, but it's typical us that we draw against Bodø, probably win against Monaco, lose against Copenhagen, and then beat PSG, right?
Yeah.
That's just how things go for Tottenham.
That is Tottenham in a nutshell, right there. We're going to lose here, 100%. I tell you, we're going to go on a bad run now, and then when that hard run comes in November, we're going to go on a mad run.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably won't be able to articulate myself like some of the people that have spoke on here, like with the formations and all this and that. But I just know that I'm a diehard Spurs fan, and I just think that I've not seen this sort of energy and passion, win, lose or draw, that we've sort of. It's just a sort of energy that we've had under Frank. Like I am positive about it still. I think that we're very quick as. I don't even want to, as a nation, to like judge this early on in a league, this early on in a competition, and I think you've just sort of got to let it play its route and just keep going and just see. Do you know what I mean? Keep believing, and look what happened last year. No one would have thought that.
So you feeling at the moment, despite maybe performances not being as good as people hoped, you're still in liking what you're seeing? Would you say?
Do you think that we've not been performing as good as we hope?
Well, I wouldn't. I guess there's some facets.
Sorry.
No, go on. I'll just say, you know, in the game against Wolves, the game today,
Bournemouth.
and Bournemouth, the performances have been pretty bad. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I guess it's fair to say, but I don't think any of us, if I'd have said at the end of last season, going into this season, to say we've only lost, if I'm correct, only one game so far, I wouldn't have predicted that. No way. I would have thought we would have maybe had a little bit of a sloppier start because of, well, the mindset and it takes a manager time to sort of get their sort of motto and their sort of play going sometimes. And albeit I love Thomas Frank, I'm all aboard the Thomas Frank engine, absolutely.
Choo
But absolutely. But at the same time, you never know. He's managed Brentford. He done really well there. But at the same, who knew what he was going to be able to do at I want to say more successful club because we are, but a much more in the press, in the light sort of club. As soon as you do bad with Spurs, you're at the back of the paper.
Yeah.
You know,
I
pressure.
hear that, yeah, because for Brentford, if you lose 5 games in a row, no one takes notice. But at Tottenham, it's a crisis. That's the difference.
That's what Harry Kane said about Spurs. James, I get what you're saying because even in the games where we're not performing well, we're still taking something from the game, and I guess that's
we're doing
that's a
something
positive
right
sign.
now. I don't want to talk about another team, but I'm going to. Like, for example, right now, Liverpool, right? They're winning games. Maybe not today. Come on. But they're not winning in the most convincing style. They're not winning in a way where I'm going, fair play, they deserve to win that. In fact, a lot of the games, okay, it's coming from a fan of another team, but it looks like they're just about scraping wins. They're lucky to get some of those wins. And if we can get certain points, 3 points, in that sort of way, as long as we're doing it and we're winning, the only thing I will say is I think Frank's maybe trialing a little bit too much too early. Maybe get to grounds with what we can do best. And then when we're in a certain position, maybe then sort of trial it a little bit more.
But wouldn't this be the best time to trial it now?
Yeah, I guess.
When you're first in, you got all these new players to figure out. I guess now would be the best time. But aren't there some genuine concerns? Like we seem to be very reliant on Mohamed Kudus on that right hand side. It seems as though
100%.
if he's not creating, like we don't really offer much.
Yeah, I guess you are right. I think Simmons has also been a lot more creative than he's being given credit for. I mean, his style of play in general is as if there's not one other player around him that can actually keep up with the sort of skillful passing and play that he's trying to create. And maybe that's something he should try and work on in a sort of coaching manner in training. But yeah, I guess I do agree with what you're saying with Kudus. We do rely on him a lot down that sort of side. But I think a lot of players rely on at least 1 or 2 players down the wings. That's that position.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in the past. We go back and look at the days of Aaron Lennon. Like, we relied on him quite a bit on that wing to either cut through the middle, get it through to strikers, or keep going down the side or whatever. Arsenal have had it with Walcott. They've had it with other players.
They had it with Saka
you know what I mean?
last season.
I was going to say Saka, but I know he's not played as much as in more recent times due to injuries, etc. But a lot of teams do rely on those sorts of players. That's what they are. They are the creative positions, and maybe we should have a more solid. Like, I think it was George that said it, and I think I disagreed with him a little bit in the comments about rather than keep switching the midfield. I do agree, have that solid starting midfield so that we can get used to that. But at the same time, I do feel like we've lacked depth over the years. Now we've got that. It's not wrong to trial it. And it is only his first season with Frank. It's our first season with Frank. So I personally think it is that time to trial it, to answer the question a moment ago.
All right, James, well, onwards and upwards, mate. Keep believing.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you
Keep
Spurs.
believing, and let's hope for 3
mate.
points on Saturday, mate.
And I love your channel, guys. I just want to say one thing. Big up Lancashire Spurs. Love you all.
Big up to
Big up
Lancashire
Lancashire
Spurs.
Spurs.
Come on.
Call in again,
Take
mate.
care,
Good
guys.
call.
Thanks for calling in. Bye, mate.
Cheers, man.
That's good stuff.
All right, look who we got next. We've got Mr. Ariane, all the way from Los Angeles. How are we doing, Ariane?
What's up, guys? What's up?
You good?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Well, you know, some people were saying, you know, Bodø, easy walkover. We can rest Xavi, and we'll get the easy win.
Hey, I said we should start him. I said we should start him, and he should be rested. Anyway, he should be taken off. We should start him. Anyway, I think first things first, that the performance, like, there's no hiding from that. That was embarrassing, right? The fact that we 2 goals was enough for a draw is a miracle, because we could have conceded 5.
Yeah.
So on that front, right, like, wonderful to get a point. 2-0 down, we do that, but we had no right. And that's kind of in that same conversation you're referring to. I was saying if we are struggling against a team like this, something's wrong. And I think there's a few things wrong. I think the last caller mentioned it perfectly. Like he's doing a little too much experimenting here and there. That being said, the front three was the one I wanted to see. I think personally that front three should not be getting outshot 3-15 in the first half. I think that's ridiculous. You can definitely get something out of there. I think the midfield, though, right? That's why I wanted to start Xavi. There was no creativity in that midfield. We really had no answer. And I said it last time. Teams can be characterized by two things: their technical ability and their energy. Because of how much of our technical ability is unavailable right now, with Kulusevski and Madison in particular, and then you could even argue Solanke, who I think is technically better than Richarlison, and then maybe Colomwani, we haven't seen enough to know, but let's just say those three, Solanke, Kulusevski, and Madison. Our technical ability, besides Kudus, who's really more of a physical player, and then Simmons, we don't really have anybody who you look at in the squad and you say that's a player that we can really rely on a technical level to create something. So we have to be the more energetic team. And you look at the games we performed well this season. You look at Wolves first half. You look at the Burnley game. You look at the City game. Those are the games where we're committed to being the more energetic team. And then you look at the games where we're getting battered, like this game, like the Bournemouth game, right? Like the second half of that Wolves game. And you're thinking, wow, when we're physically outmatched, we have no answer. And that's what's happening. And that's a personnel issue at the end of the day, right? Because physicality runs out. When you're playing 2 games a week, you can't expect this team to come out, firing on all cylinders physically. And that's what happens sometimes to us. And I can't blame Frank entirely for that. I can't say maybe, you should change this, change that. Maybe Archie Gray should be getting more minutes because I think he's probably a better player technically than some of our players who are getting minutes. But because we have to rely so much on being the energetic team, if we get outmatched, like in the first half, we were getting outran by like 2 kilometers cumulatively. That's what we saw. We were getting pressed. We were getting suffocated in our own half with the press. So that's the story of what happened. We were physically outmatched, and we didn't really have an answer. And then luckily, we were pretty decent on set pieces. And then Archie Gray comes in. I think again he's been one of our better players when he comes on. And we get a lucky break. Very lucky to get a draw. And if you can't win, don't lose.
But we're playing Bodø, the resources to us are so so outmatched in terms of being, all the physical data we probably get and all those, different resources. How are they able to physically outmatch us when we've also made a lot of changes as well in this game?
I think it's look. First of all, again, I'm saying it's embarrassing. Bodø Glimt is a second. Like, there's no question about that. Bodø Glimt at best should be taken with the same, kind of like they are at best maybe a lower tier Premier League side, or if they have a good season like Luton or like a championship side in terms of quality. They should not be taken. Like, this is not a good performance. This is embarrassing. They're a second-rate side. So but physically speaking, they were able to outmatch us for probably a few reasons. I mean, maybe I don't know. I'm not familiar with Bodø's program or their players, but their players probably are just more physical players. It's the 7th season with their manager. They're a more well-oiled machine, and that's not an excuse, by the way. Again, because we beat them with Ange Postecoglou last season. So, but then we had Madison and Solanke playing in that game at the same time. There's no excuse, and I don't have an answer as to why it happened, but I'm just saying what I saw, and we were physically completely outmatched in the games where we look poor. And when we're physically outmatched, we have nothing. We have absolutely nothing to rely on. When we're physically level with a team, even if we don't dominate them physically, kind of like the last 10-ish minutes of that Wolves game, when we're going to toe-to-toe physically, we can have a little bit of quality, like especially, Mohamed Kudus, even Palhinha, right? Like, we have some quality, but when we're getting completely outmatched physically, there's absolutely no answer. Like, we don't have anything to fall back on, and that's the big problem, and I think that's more of a personnel issue. But regarding why physicality,
but you're saying it's a personnel issue we have today. Pape, who hasn't started the last couple games, he's quite physical. Bentancur's pretty physical.
He's been injured, though. I
know, but he started today because he was fit enough to start. Bergvall is a pretty physical player as well. Like, why are those three, who all of them haven't been starting every game? Why are they? When you're saying it's a personnel issue, I'm just saying I'm looking at personnel.
I was talking about their technical ability. I'm saying their technical ability is a personnel issue. That when we get outmatched, I'm not making any excuses for the physicality. Brennan Johnson's barely played for a few weeks. Like you said, Pape Sarr has not played. Bentancur, I wouldn't say is very physical. He's strong, but I don't think he's very pacey, which is part of the thing if you want to cover ground. Bergvall for sure, though, I would agree. Richarlison, I think we can agree, is a more physical player, even if he's played a lot of minutes. Physicality wise, I'm not making any excuses. That's what was embarrassing about the performance. We should not be getting out physical by a team like this. We have so many more resources available to us. I'm saying
We lack
when we
technical
have
ability.
but I think technically they were just superior to us. You can't doubt that. You look at that
they
and you
were,
can
yeah.
say our squad is so much more expensive. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because those players completely embarrass us technically. Their wingers would start for us. That's the reality. Their wingers would start for us. You think, besides Kudus, you think their wingers don't start for us? Because I do. I mean, that second goal, I haven't seen any of our wingers do that in years. So,
Hauger.
that's what it is. Yeah, what was his name again?
Hauger.
Yeah, Halga. I mean, that guy, he
was
would be our
great.
best winger. He would be our best winger besides Kudus. Have him on the left.
Why?
Over-
We are so reliant on Kudus, it seems, isn't it, to create any
We
sort
are.
of opportunities? How much of a worry is that at the moment? Anyway,
It's a massive worry.
It seems as though unless he's on the pitch, we really struggle just to get up the pitch.
It's a massive worry, but I will say, it's a little bit of a cop out to say, oh, what if Kudus gets injured? Because it's a situation of what if Madison and Kulusevski and Kudus get injured, which is the situation we're in. Because I think, again, if you have those three players who I think are the creative players that can make something happen, then you're thinking, okay, well, we're not reliant on one of them. But right now we're reliant on one because it's one of three standing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of a cop-out to say we're only reliant on Kudus because the whole squad is shit. But I think just, again, so much of the technical part of the squad is injured. And right now Kudus is the last man standing pretty much besides Xavi Simons, who's clearly still betting into the side.
Do you think that Frank just took this game a bit too lightly today with, just resting the majority of our technical players, and maybe he underestimated Bodø a little bit?
I don't know if I'd say underestimated because I don't obviously agree with the 11. Again, I said several times, I think we should have had Xavi start. I think without Xavi and Kudus, it's not even a case of is he not taking Bodø Glimt too seriously. It's literally against Doncaster, we didn't look that good without Xavi and Kudus on the pitch. It's we without them, how are we expecting to score? What's the plan? Besides set pieces, I guess, but then Kudus is our best set piece taker. So I don't know what the plan is I don't know what the plan is to score without Simons and Kudus. And I'm being generous including Simons in there because I think he's looked bright, but I don't think he's done anything. He's not even on the same level as Kudus. So I don't know what the plan is. It's not is he taking Bodø Glimt too seriously? It's what is he thinking? Because I'm not seeing it. When we have our first 11 on the pitch, or even when he's tweaking the system like that PSG game where Kudus is playing an entirely different role as to what he's been playing the rest of the season, I could see the plan. I could see what was going on. I have no idea what's going on when we don't have him on the pitch. I don't know what we're trying to create. I don't know what avenues we're trying to go down. I don't know how he wants to progress the ball down the left because Oderbert keeps sticking and twisting and actually, taking the defender inside out and then not taking any advantage of it at all. He doesn't have the pace to break off and actually release a pass. Spence on the ball can't progress it for anything recently. Down the right, Brennan Johnson, again, unfortunately, I hate to say it, every time he's on, whatever side he's on, never progresses the ball. And then through the middle, Bergvall hasn't been super creative in the 10 spot. Pape Sarr, his best contribution is probably winning 50-50s high up the pitch, and Bentancur is not really a creative player, so I don't know how we're progressing the ball. Until Kudus and Xavi Simons came on the pitch, Richarlison hardly saw the ball besides the first chance they missed. So I don't know what the plan is. I really don't know. Maybe it's a coaching issue, but I don't think those players are good enough to advance the ball the way we need to. So regardless of who the opposition is, when you have personnel like that, what do you do, right? I don't really know who to blame because I can see that it's a really difficult situation for both the club and Frank, but it's tough. I will say the biggest credit I can give is we've lost one game all season, and that's good. That's a thing to be positive about because we have lost one game all season. But,
Thomas Frank said he believes Spurs' biggest issue tonight was that they often threw the ball away too quickly after winning back possession.
Yeah, but that's been our issue in so many games. That's what I'm saying. We cannot hold on to that ball. Every time I watch a game with my dad, 90% of the time, whoever the team we're playing, it could be Wolves, it could be Bournemouth, it could be City, it could be Burnley. He'll be like, why do the other teams just pass the ball so much better than us? Why can they actually connect 6, 7, 8, 9 passes so much more consistently than we can? And he's like, because he's not super into the sport as I am. He's not looking at transfer news. He doesn't know any of the names of half the players on the pitch. But he's just visibly confused. Like, isn't Spurs supposed to be like a big club? Like, aren't you supposed to be passing the ball well? And I'm like, I can't tell you, because I don't know what am I gonna say? I'm gonna say that this team in 18th place is technically better than us because they have these players that we don't. It feels ridiculous to say, but it's the truth. So I don't know what to say. We lose the ball constantly unless it's in the hands of a very few specific players. If it's in the hands of Gray, maybe in the hands of Bentancur if he's gonna play a safe pass, Romero, Porro, Kudus. Pretty much anybody else. Like, if Sarr has the ball, it's a 50-50 chance. If Spence has the ball, it's a 50-50 chance. If Odobert has the ball, it's a 50-50 chance. Like, we don't have 11 players you can put on the pitch and say they're going to keep the ball. If you had Madison, Kulusevski, Kudus, Solanke, Gray, Bergval, and then Porro and Udogi and all these players, I think we'd look phenomenal, but we haven't seen that. It's hard. But with what we have available to us, it's poor.
I think there's been a clear problem with Frank's selection in midfield the last couple of games. Like, who do you go with against Leeds?
I think I don't know if I'd start him because, again, like, it's just so hard. Like, it feels like I'm throwing him in the deep end. But I think Archie Gray just deserves way more minutes than he's been getting every time he's come on.
Place he's comfortable as well, Leeds.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. So I think he deserves minutes for sure. I would start him. I really would, because I'm sick and tired of seeing Palhinha and Bentancur next to each other.
Yeah.
I would go Palhinha, Gray, Simmons. That's what I would do. Because then you have Bergval off the bench, Sarr off the bench. That's what I would want to do. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be Bergval, Palhinha, and Bentancur, to be honest. But I would like for Frank to change that, because I think Archie Gray is being hard done by. He's every time he just looks so comfortable, so he's the player who, if the ball's with him, I'm thinking he's going to do something. This ball's getting. We're not losing the ball every time. He's just so calm. So many of our players, and Frank says it in the presser after Wolves. It's like our players are the ball is a bomb. Like, they're not passing the ball. I say this every season at one point. Our players don't pass the ball. They pass the responsibility. They don't want the ball sometimes. That's what it feels like. Yeah. So, besides Gray, gets the ball and he's looking for something.
Yeah. I'd agree with you.
He was asked if it was the plan to try and sit back and counter today, and he said, I think that was what we wanted. Hopefully, you saw that we went high pressure sometimes, but he said... and it was obviously it was the plan to succeed with those situations. And then there were times when we were a little more banked in. I think the counters should have been a little better, but I think the main bit was that we were on the ball, we threw the ball away too quick. So he said it was the plan today to kind of sit back.
So he tried to Ange him, is what he's saying. He's saying this is a team who's going to give us the front foot. They're going to press us high, and we're going to try and punish them for overextending, playing the brand of football that they're not good enough to play, and we absolutely did not manage to do that. That's what
it doesn't help. It doesn't help trying to counter a team when you're just hoofing the ball up to the other end of the pitch. Like,
yeah, that's how Burnley counterattacks.
I feel like our counters have not been good this season. Like, we haven't been a good, like, when we get on the chance to counter, I don't know whether it's, do we have players who have enough pace to kind of get away from defenders, or what it is, timing of the runs, do we commit enough players to our counter attacks? But
we miss Sonny and we miss Madison.
But we don't have the play. Yes, Sonny used to be elite at just timing those runs, getting in behind, and obviously getting away from defenders. Seem like Kudus obviously is a player who likes the ball to feet. Odobert as well. Johnson, can do it, but I don't know. We just don't seem to have very good players who are very good in counterattacks.
I think it's a personnel thing, because you mentioned half our players and how they like getting the ball to feet. But I will say, I think if there's anybody, I'd say we should bring them in. I think they'd improve our counterattacks over time. It'd be Thomas Frank. A lot of the players at Brentford, you see Brian Mbeumo, you see Johan Wissa, you see even Ivan Toney. Like, maybe not Ivan Toney so much, but a lot of these players that you're thinking, these are, even now Kevin Schade, these players, like, Frank made them. Frank made these players. Like Mbeumo, I remember nobody really cared for Mbeumo until Tony left, and then he had to take this mantle, and then Frank bigged him up. So a lot of these players that we are thinking they're just quality, like Frank made them, he developed them, and I think we have maybe a bit of talent that hopefully he can create. You can turn that into, like, I'm looking at Matisse Tell. Maybe he can turn him into the kind of player like that. Hopefully, I mean, I've been critical of him, but I'm just saying, Frank, over time, like, I have no doubt about Thomas Frank's ability to coach a counterattack. So that makes me think that it's a personnel thing. Like, you have remnants of, like, these are players who've been coached last season as well. Like, old habits die hard. So you can't coach everything out. And it's not that Ange is style was like bad or we have to like get this virus away. It's just like they played one way and now playing another way, and you're going up against a team who's had 7 years of the same system versus us who've had a few months of it. And again, that's no excuse. That doesn't mean that we should be dropping points, but when you want to tactically adjust to a team like that, and you're expecting to go on this counterattack, you don't have the ideal personnel, and you haven't been working on it for that long compared to a team who know what they're doing for very, very well. They have their own rhythm. It's a bigger challenge. Maybe he just shouldn't have done that. Maybe he should have said, look, we're going to have to play our game. We're going to be the dominant side. But he didn't, and he got it wrong. But like you guys said, I think now is the time to experiment. I'd rather do it now than a knockout phase. So,
True.
I think, again, Frank will be the manager that keeps on improving. A lot of managers drop off and they don't get better ever again. They have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games, even one season that's really good, and then we drop off. We saw it under Conte, we saw it under Ange. I'd like to hope Frank is the opposite. I think he gets better and better and better. And I think the evidence was at Brentford. If you look at his start, he was quite poor, and then Brentford were finishing higher up the table no matter who they lost, and that gives me a lot of encouragement. So I think it'll be all right.
All right.
Ariane, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for coming on
Big
today.
up, Ariane.
We'll speak
Thanks
soon.
for having me. And as always, come on, you Spurs!
Come on. It's actually made me think about Frank and about what we're going through right now. And like Frank actually historically, when he started at Brentford, when he started at Bromby, went through very slow starts to get going there. I know it's a different level here. Like we've got a lot better players than what Brentford had and what Bromby had. So, it's time to be patient.
Even if he didn't go through bad sides, I agree. You have to be patient because it's still so early on.
Yeah.
Everyone that we're working out how he wants to play, and he's working out. The whole point of Frank is he sees who you have, right, and he develops systems for the players based on relationships they have. That's all got to develop. That doesn't develop in 6
It's not
games.
overnight. Yeah.
There's months. For Brentford, he was there for how long? 7 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I doubt he achieved his goals in his first season at Brentford. I don't know, but
And I think first season, did he get to the playoffs or just missed out? I can't remember.
I'm just saying it wasn't like he went straight to the Premier League in one
Yeah.
season.
No, it took him a few years, yeah.
So like, it's gonna take time for it to be perfection. But obviously, with Tottenham Weeks, we have some standards, and look, at the end of the day, results are still pretty good. So you got to give them some grace.
Yeah. It definitely made us a hard team to beat, that's for sure. Let's move on to the next guest. Who have we got? Waiting for Callum to start his video, apparently.
Some more quotes from Frank. Well, is he there? Oh, let's get him.
Let's go to Callum. Yes, Callum, how you doing, mate?
Good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad. Another poor display, but we managed to take something from the game. How do you assess that one?
That was one of the hardest watches I've ever had. It was so rough specifically because I play midfielder, when I play soccer last. So when I'm playing midfield, I always check in for the ball. I'm always wanting the ball, but it seems like all 3 midfielders today did not want to touch the ball. Like they were scared to touch the ball. Kind of what Arian was saying, we have no progressive passers in that midfield 3. And it was obvious because none of them wanted to touch the ball. I can't even tell you how many times I counted Sarr getting on the ball, turning, and then progressing the play. I don't think I saw him do it maybe more than once,
Yeah.
And Bentaker too. Bentaker, he pissed me off so much just because he's again, it's all 3 of them, but specifically him because he'll lose the ball in positions where he should not be losing it, and then he won't pick up the ball up where he should be picking it up. So it's the same shit. I don't get how he's starting game in game out, and I don't know how Frank didn't make any subs at half. That was one thing that really I could not believe.
Well, but those players not taking that responsibility to do the things you're saying. Is Frank responsible for them not doing that, or is it a personal responsibility? How do you see it?
It's a mix of both because I think there's definitely some coaching that needs to be involved in who picks it up, especially in the defensive end. It was clear that, especially in the second half, Paulinho and Bentaker were both getting drawn out to the wide men, and leaving such a big gap, and no one was tracking their runner. So their midfield would be just at the top of the box, and it would just be a free shot. How many times? I think it was like 3 times they had a clear shot on goal, and it should have been a goal. But either we got a block or they just missed because both of our defensive-minded midfielders were too busy going out wide when they should have been going. One of them should have been tracking the inside man. So it's like coaching, but also a matter of like you have to, as a midfielder, you should be wanting to get on the ball. But why are you like I'm looking at Bentinger and it's like the ball is near him, but he's backing up into the opposition player. Like he's like, nah, I don't want it. I don't want to get it away from me. So that's a problem. Like that cannot be happening. That player cannot be standing on the field for 70 plus minutes, back to back games when it's the same issue back to back. So I don't know. I was just getting furious with that. Absolutely furious.
So what's the solution then? What midfield would you like to see?
Kind of what Arian said. I think Paulinho has to start. He's number one. He actually will progress the ball. He'll at least try. I think Bergvall needs a rest. The past 2 games he's been horrible. He's been also absent. He's anonymous the past 2 games. He needs a rest. I think Sarr he was got a rest last game. He was very anonymous this game. Bentinger needs he needs to be dropped at least for Leeds. I think Archie should definitely play. And then Javi, of course, because when Javi came on, he started dropping in. He started at least trying to get on ball to progress the field, to progress the ball, to progress the whole game. And that's what you want. You want someone just at least trying. It can't just be looking around to see who's gonna do it, because then no one's gonna do it. So I think Javi, Archie, and Paulinho would be that's a great midfield for Leeds. 100%.
I think everyone's saying that 3 in midfield now.
Yeah.
I would love to see it, to be fair. But how much credit do you give the team for sticking in there and getting the point? Because that's 3 games in a row now where we've gone down and we've taken something from the game.
Yeah, you do have to give them credit, because also I do want to caveat the fact that I hate people who get so negative and all that, but Bodo, they were mid-season. Again, they had like 20 games under their belt with the 7th year with their manager. They understand the conditions. This is also how many times that our players slip, fall, make sloppy passes. Which probably we don't make. I've never seen us make that many sloppy passes in any of our games under Frank. So it's clear that it was either a field issue or something. Maybe they're just not used to it. But I hate making.
You saw the second half against Wolves, mate.
That is also true. But I feel like it was extreme. Like players were they were flopping over the ball. People were dribbling out of bounds. So it looked like something wasn't right. But again, that's no excuse to be playing like that the entire game and not be able to piece together a couple passes in a row. But I do got to give him credit, because to claw back and then to keep hounding for it as well towards the end. That's you got to give him credit, because I don't remember too many times we did that under hands. I think when we went down, it got worse and worse. But at this point, I have a feeling like when we go down that we'll get it back under Frank. That's due to the set pieces as well, because all it takes is one corner now, and then we're back in the game. And that wasn't like that last season.
Yeah, and that keeps you in the game when, like in games like today when we're not playing so well. But as long as you just get a corner or a free kick, you can always crawl yourselves back in the game. But when you look at our struggles going forward at the moment, do you see that as a personnel issue, or do you see that more as a coaching issue? Because at the moment we seem to be very reliant on Kudus to kind of create anything and do anything. Without him on the pitch, we seem to be quite blunt. So. But what should we be so reliant on like one player?
It's horrible that we're so reliant, because when you see him play, I'm looking at him when he just gets the ball. Number one, he'll almost never lose it unless he's getting triple man. But even when he does, like sometimes he'll just wiggle out, and you're like, how did he just do that? He makes us look like we belong in the conversation. But without him, without Javi, we look like a mid-table side. There's literally nothing special of us. We're devoid of any creativity, any real just flair, any real quality. Because you look at that front line of Johnson, who maybe, I don't even think he touched the ball in the box. Odebear he tried, it just didn't work. And Richarlison looks like he's about to fall over every time he gets the ball. So there's just a lot of missing pieces up there. So I think most of it is due to quality issues. That quality, look, that front three, we went from Son, Kane, Kulusevski to Odebear, Richarlison, Johnson. That shit is nuts. That is nuts, man. I know we have some players injured, of course, but like you got to deal with what you got to deal with. And these are just the cards he's dealt with. But end of the day, draws a point to point. We'll take it on the road, and then kind of onwards to next. But I think we definitely need a big performance for Saturday. That just, I mean, against Leeds, we absolutely need one. I think the club needs it, the fans need it too, just to show there's something to look forward to for those that are kind of lacking a little bit of encouragement. You know.
Yeah, the dreaded game before the international break.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope to turn it around, I guess, you know. But do you see though what I was talking about with the midfield though, how it's like they were all three of them were scared to get on the ball, or am I
100%.
just seeing things?
No, 100%. I think you're absolutely spot on. And I think it's been a problem for the last couple of games. I don't think it's just a problem with today. So, look, I think he needs to get his midfield selection spot on. I don't think he has done that over the last couple of weeks. And I think, look, let's try Archie Gray. I really think Archie Gray could help to improve that because he's a player that likes to keep the ball. He likes to progress the ball. And if we can have him and Javi in the same midfield, I think that could potentially solve a few problems.
Yeah. And question, what do you guys think of Bentancur though? Because I've just been so torn because he used to. I remember when I used to think he was a star. I still think he is, but just like it seems like he's devoid of any progression, any creativity in him. It's just not who I remember seeing. So I don't know what's that about. You know, I'm just wondering if I'm seeing the same thing or if anyone else is seeing what I'm seeing.
I think when he was at his best, he used to take people on. He used to kind of drive forward. I remember those last kind of few months before he got the injury, you know, when he was at the World Cup. You watch some of his performances at the World Cup. He's like a different player. He would be so confident. He would take the ball on half term and players would struggle to keep up with him. I think at the moment he seems a lot more of a kind of stable player, calm, composed. He doesn't have that all action kind of parts to him at the moment.
You see it creep in at times.
Yeah, it's kind of, you see it in fits and spurts, but yeah, we're still not seeing that Bentancur at his very best. And look, I think if we can, then obviously he's a major asset to us. But right now, I feel like obviously he's behind Paulinho in that number 6 pecking order. And I don't know about him and Paulinho together unless you're playing against teams where we're really sitting back like properly and soaking up lots of pressure. In those other games, I think Bentancur needs to offer more. And right now, I feel, you know, if we want to sign a new midfielder who I think maybe offers that bit more progression, but also a bit more of that solidity, I think Bentancur would probably be the guy who would have to make way.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like he would be the perfect player to do it. It's like he can do everything, but he's just not. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones because you've seen it before, but he just maybe because it's too much responsibility is like a lone 6. But then again, it's like, even when he has players around him, he still doesn't want to get on the ball. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I think maybe just the overall team performance then, or like this the fluidity is just not there yet. But you have to. I mean, I'm positive. I think I think change will come hopefully and. I like Arian said, I hope that it's the opposite of the whole Ange thing. Like we were 10 games in, we were the best team. It seemed like we're the best team in the world, but then all came crashing down. But hopefully it's like we progress how it should be. You start low and you just progress instead of starting at the top and just slowly deteriorating. So hopefully that's the case, and I think it will be under him. So
it's a marathon. Yeah. It's a marathon, not a sprint, Callum. So onwards and upwards. Thank you for coming on today, my friend.
Thank you guys very much.
Nice one, Callum.
Up the Spurs, come on.
Frank confirming Van de Ven is in the leadership group.
Yeah, I think that was pretty obvious after he made him captain.
But he said he hasn't told the team yet.
Oh, but he's told everyone else.
He hasn't told the team, the whole leadership group.
Oh, right.
He said Thursday. He'll tell everyone.
Okay.
He'll tell the team who the leadership. But he said he's been impressed a lot.
How many players do you reckon are in it?
With the player and character of Van de Ven. He said it's pretty obvious, yeah, with him being captain in the leadership group. Probably him, Romero, Porro, maybe Vicario,
Bentancur, maybe?
Bentancur, Paulinho, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if Paulinho's in there.
I think Paulinho should be in there.
Poor Madders getting ousted.
Yeah. Do you know? I mean, Maddison probably will still stay in there, won't he? Do you not think so?
Man, put everyone in there. I don't know how many people he wants in there.
Another person that's definitely not in the leadership group, and that is Mr. KPV. How you doing,
I'm in the
KPV?
leadership club. Good evening.
You're not in the
Good
lead.
evening.
You're not in the leadership group, mate.
I am. I've been captain before, have you know? You ain't been captain when you played football, have you? So how's that worked out for you? But congratulations, by the way, Ben. Congrats to you and Ashley, by the
Thank
way.
you very much. Thank you very much.
Where have you been, man? Well, you not been in the studio yet.
You just admitted that you know what Havel's been going on, and then you're asking.
You wish me congratulations, and then you say, "Where have you been?" You know where I've been.
Where have you been?
Oh,
Congratulations, but where have you been?
He's probably been hiding, mate. He's probably been in Bodø Glimt again.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was.
Man, but yeah, as I say, but obviously I'm 29, by the way, Ben. In case you haven't already been told.
You're not offering him a happy birthday for last
Happy
week.
birthday, mate, for last week,
Thank
KPV.
you, mate. Yeah, and
What date's your birthday?
21st of September. That was last weekend when those lot down the road couldn't beat Man Shitty, as my mates called them, Man Shitty. But they're unbeaten. 5 games, I couldn't give a damn. At least we didn't lose to Brighton, because I thought that was our best performance, as Frank said, and we didn't lose. But good thing, and yeah, so, and pretty good. So, but
Who was man of the match today, KPV?
Man of match. Ben.
Ben.
I agree. I was man of the
For
match.
being back in the studio.
What
did he
man
do
of
well?
Have you missed me, KPV? It sounds like you've missed me.
Of course, man. Check your WhatsApp, Ben. I sent you a message. You couldn't
Did you?
reply. I sent
sorry,
you a
mate.
WhatsApp message ages ago. But like as I said, we're still unbeaten against these lot who they can't seem to beat us, and they've now finally scored some goals against us. They couldn't score. They got 1 goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but we gave them that goal, because if they scored first in theirs, then that would have been different. But we still beat them in the semi-final, and we're still unbeaten, so they can't beat us.
Right.
I just said in the chat, I don't think a point is a bad result, but 4 points we should have won, and we need to win on Saturday, because the last time we played Leeds away, a certain bonus in extra Ben lost. Predict the Prem. So we got
What happened?
Leeds
What
away.
happened in Predict the Prem?
Sim needed Tottenham to at least concede, because then he would have won Predict the Prem. But Lucas Moura scored that goal and he won.
Exactly. You tell him, KPV.
You won Predict the Prem. That was when City won the treble.
How many years in a row have I won Predict the Prem?
If I remember rightly, Sim must have won it when Chelsea won a Champions League, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that the last time he's won it?
Yeah, that was when Chelsea beat Man City in the Champions League final. That was when we lost to Italy in the final Euros. But you still need to accept Maguire's son should have been in that England-Italy combined 11 for the final. You two made the biggest mistake putting Donnarumma and Chiellini and Bonucci in. Because remember who kept 5 clean sheets at the Euros? That's why 3 Lions, not Italy. So
who won
the
it?
World Cup's coming up. Yeah, well, I couldn't give a fuck about Italy, mate. I couldn't give a damn. Because
Who won the Euros, though?
Look what shirt he's wearing. Ben. You think he's going to say anything bad about England?
I won, and we beat Italy in the women's Euro semi-final because I was with my mate Ben Symes. It's S-Y-M-E-S, not S-I-M-S, because that's the Coventry player. Sims, like Sim. Like, you can sim a game on FIFA.
Ben Sims, I remember.
Yeah, I'll take
Ben
a point,
Sims.
as Jack said. I'll take a point, as I was speaking to a friend of mine on Messenger. I'll take a point. We've got to beat Leeds, because guess who scored at the weekend? Joe Roden scored at the weekend.
You didn't let me
They got-
answer. You said
Joe
guess.
Roden scored.
Joe Roden.
He
You
scored, mate.
you can't ask us to guess and then not let us guess.
Well, Joe Roden scored at the weekend, so...
Should we get him back?
And, yeah, he's at Leeds, isn't he? And Archie Gray, we signed Archie Gray from Leeds last summer. So
We did. Robbie Keane used to play for Leeds.
Dirty Leeds, as my key worker calls them, Dirty Leeds.
Who, Ben
Because they're Man
Sims?
United's biggest rivals. And Man United want us to beat Leeds. I know my key worker Ben would want that. So Yeah,
Ben,
and
ben,
they've got-
Sim, Ben Sims.
it's Ben Symes. Fucking hell. It's not
Ben
Sims,
Sims.
but
Ben
we've got
Sims.
Monaco. We've got Monaco who are still shit, and because we need revenge for what they did to us at Wembley when we couldn't play our games at White Hart Lane in our final season because
They
we
knocked us
couldn't
out of the
play our
Champions
games.
League.
Yeah, that was when we had Carl Walker, mate, and that was on the pot. So we're going to be in Monaco anyway, and it's Eric Dyer returning. I know it's in France, but the last time we went in France, we beat Marseille, who had a couple of Arsenal rejects, and Monaco, I believe, are playing tomorrow, if I'm not wrong. So, Eric Dyer, look out, mate. You're getting slapped. Sorry, pal, but yeah, well done. And Harry Kane scoring goals for Bayern, but that Chelsea reject scored. I couldn't give a damn. Jackson still shit. So yeah, he's still shit. And you've probably seen our November fixture list already. Chelsea at home first, then Man United a week later, back-to-back Saturdays. So we
Don't
should
worry,
be winning
KPV.
them.
We'll get into the November fixtures. We've got the October ones to get through first.
I know, mate. And my dad's birthday's tomorrow, so sorry that I couldn't get you.
What's your
anything.
dad's name?
Vinny.
Vinny Patrick
like
Vineyard.
Yeah. It's
Well, wait,
Mr.
Vinny-
Hendrik Vineyard.
Vinny
Mr.
Vineyard.
Hendrik Vineyard. Mr. Henrik Vineyard. That's what.
Henrik.
Yes.
You
And
just said it's Vinny.
Yeah, but
Vinny
yeah, that's
Hendrik
what
Vineyard.
my. That's what my.
Is Hendrik
parents
is Hendrik a middle name?
It's
Or is
Henrik Vineyard. It's like Henrik first, then Vineyard, but most
Is
of
it
them
double
call him
barreled or
Henrik.
is it a middle name?
It's probably both, mate. I couldn't remember, but anyway, it's my dad's birthday tomorrow, and I've got a party to go to Sunday for my mate Chris Thornton, who done
Big
something.
up Chris Thornton. What did he do? Go on. Do we want
Well,
to know?
Well, Sim, I didn't like what card he done for me because I chucked it in a bin.
Why?
Why?
What was the card?
Well, I think Ben may have already seen what shirt I wore 2 seasons ago, 22-23. I was on a channel with Stow, whatever.
Yeah,
You
you're
may
on
have already-
Tottenham away in an Arsenal shirt. I saw that.
Yeah, well, that's what card Chris's girlfriend put of me, saying I love Arsenal. Fuck off. I hate Arsenal.
Don't wear an
Fuck off.
Arsenal shirt and then you won't get it.
No, he done it. His girlfriend done it, and Chris Thornton played a game on her. So I'm going to tell her tomorrow, make sure you draw a picture of Chris wearing a Tottenham shirt saying I love Spurs.
I feel like this is turning into a bit of like late night confession. So I think let's
Revenge. I'm off.
maybe we'll put an end to this one.
I'm off tonight. Anyway, I'm off, boys. So but look forward to Saturday. Better win. And Ben is still leading in Predict the Prem. So may the best man win.
Just
So-
Carl, make sure the dogs ain't out too late tonight, yeah?
Shut up, lad. That's my bad news. I'm off, people. And I'll see you on Saturday and for the Monaco game. And I'll hopefully see you at one of the Spurs games, lads, because I'm going to try in November anyway, because Ben, my care and I will sort that out. And I'm off, people. So have a good evening and don't drink too many beers. And big up to Ash and Joshua. Come on, you Spurs. And as always, Daigle, Ash, Ben, Sim, everyone in. Enoch, out. Labosh, Jordan Pickford.
LeBoss Jordan Pickford. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is he adding Jordan Pickford to the end of these to what?
Nothing.
These goodbyes now?
He's proper England, mate. Nothing hits like a KPV at the end of a stream, mate. Especially when
brilliant.
it's nearly midnight. But yeah, I think that's it from us today. I want to thank you all for sticking around this late, but we'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, Comedy Spurs.